Hi YouTube, Watchify here with another video. I recently did an unboxing video on this Citizen Automatic model NB1050-59L. So here's the full review video as promised. A little background on Citizen is that they're a Japanese brand founded in 1930 and are most known today for their EcoDrive line of solar-powered watches. If you dig further though, you'll find that they also manufacture automatic movement watches, but these are mainly targeted to the Asian market. You can still buy these watches via e-commerce sites if you're outside of Asia, but you may have to pay additional import fees and the warranty will probably be an issue as it's only valid in Japan. If you are in the United States, for example, this makes buying this watch a bit risky, as if there's a major problem, you'd have to contact the seller and hope that they would assist you. It looks like this line was introduced in mid-2021, so I don't think it's very well known yet. This watch looked to be a part of the Citizen collection and comes in 3 variants. The blue sunburst dial I have here, a black dialed version, and a white dialed variant. I was really struck by the blue sunburst dial this watch has, so I opted for this variant. This watch is a made in Japan model if that's something that is important to you. Starting off with the case dimensions, the case size is 38 millimeters, the lug-to-lug distance is 46.3 millimeters, thickness is only 10.8 millimeters, and the lug width is 19 millimeters. That 19 millimeter lug width is going to make it problematic to find aftermarket strap options, but they do exist, they're just not as common as 20 millimeter straps. The case finishing is where I think this watch really excels. The sides of the case have a fine brushing which transitions to a mirror polished chamfer and goes back to brushing on the top of the lugs. If you notice, the intersection of the lugs are angled and polished, and this is a small detail that really adds to the look of the watch. The sloped bezel is also polished, as is the underside of the case. You get a prominent unsigned push-pull crown at 3 o'clock with no crown guards. And going back to the underside of the watch, you'll see a screw-down case back that provides a view of the Citizen 9011 automatic movement and a mention of the proprietary Duratect coating that this watch has, which is supposed to help resist scratches. This movement's main feature is that it beats at a higher 28,800 beats per hour, which results in a smoother seconds hand sweep. Its stated accuracy is minus 10 seconds to plus 20 seconds a day. It hacks and hand winds, and it has a 42-hour power reserve. Mine's running about 8 seconds fast per day, which is fine with me, as I'd rather have it run a little fast than slow. This movement is decorated with brushing, and it has a skeletonized rotor. This rotor is a bit unusual in that it rotates extremely rapidly, which is something I've never seen with my Seiko and Orient movements. So with this movement's higher beat rate and finishing work, I think you're getting something a step above the more common Seiko 4R35 movement, for example. I can also see that there's a regulation lever on the movement in case you ever wanted to regulate the movement yourself. Moving on to the dial, it's a radiant sunburst royal blue, and I think that's the main attraction of this watch. On it, you'll find an applied Citizen logo, which is not polished, but rather kind of has a muted finish. The word automatic is printed in white near 6 o'clock, and the only other wording is at the bottom of the dial in small print, where you'll find the Made in Japan wording and the movement reference number. There is a polished frame date window at 3 o'clock, which is nicely done in my opinion. The indices are bar-shaped, but they have polished facets on each side to catch the light. The indices at 6, 9, and 12 are larger than the others, and you'll find lume at the outer edge of each indice as well as on the hour and minute hand. This is Citizen's blue lume, which seems appropriate to me, and it glows pretty well. The hands are simple baton shapes, but they have a brushed and a polished side, which is a nice added touch. The minute track is on the dial and done in white, so the rehaut is a mirror polished, and I really like the look that gives the watch. Covering the dial is a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, which is always nice to have at a watch in this price point. The oyster style bracelet this watch comes with is not the greatest, but not bad either. It has solid end links and a milled clasp, and the links are held together with pins and collars, which I found relatively easy to work with when resizing the bracelet. The bracelet has a minimal taper that ranges from 18.7 to 17.7 millimeters. There is a double push button release, and the Citizen logo is stamped onto the clasp. You can see that the clasp does stick out a bit when closed, which is something I've seen on other bracelets with this style of clasp. The outer portion of the links are all brushed and the sides are polished. The downsides of this bracelet is that it only has 2 micro adjustment holes. In my case, I could have really benefited from having at least one additional micro adjustment. As with my 6 3/4 inch wrist, I fall into that area where if I added an additional link, the watch wears too loose for my liking. Without adding a link and using the outermost micro adjust, the watch wears a bit snug on wrist. The other notable thing about this bracelet is that the end link protrudes out prominently. I've seen this on other bracelets, but on this watch it really changes how the watch appears and wears on wrist. It makes the watch seem larger and increases the wingspan so much that if I had a smaller wrist, I think there would be some overhang. Having said that, I think the bracelet matches the watch well and I have no plans on changing it out to something else. So for around $460, I think you're getting a lot of watch for that money. You get a higher beat movement with decoration not usually seen at this price point, a gorgeous sunburst blue dial, a sapphire crystal, the scratch resistant Duratec coating, and above average case finishing. You get 100 meters water resistance, lume on the dial and hands, and a watch that in my opinion looks higher end than what it costs. And it's a watch from a well-known Japanese brand. If you are outside of Asia and can get past the warranty risks of purchasing a JDM watch like this, you could really have a gem of a watch in your collection and one that you'd be hard-pressed to find others wearing. If it becomes more well-known and if the price drops closer to $400, this watch could even potentially be the new go-to JDM dress watch value proposition, just like the now discontinued Seiko SARB 033 was at one time. No watch is perfect though, so in terms of recommended improvements, I already mentioned the micro adjustment issue, but I would have really liked to have seen a signed crown on this watch, and also would have preferred that they etched or engraved the Citizen logo on the clasp rather than just stamping it. For me, this is a great find and one that I see myself keeping in the collection long term. I think that'll be it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful or interesting, and if you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. I wanted to thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.